Kevin Hart's Funny AF Netflix series. Just wanted to talk a little bit and review it. Have a lot to say. Once again, welcome to Glowing Cart. This is the review series. Just did one on the Y files. That one did all right, so I figured give it another shot. Let me get into it. Um, Kevin Hart's Funny AF series on Netflix. I would recommend going and watching this, especially if you like stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy, have watched, since I was a little kid, I've told stories on this channel about how I stole a Bill Cosby joke and it was just like a laughter bomb that went off in the middle of a train as we were on the Durango Silverton um, train. And there, I guess a lot of old people. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But focusing on Kevin Hart's Funny AF. Um, I have a lot to say about this, so I'm trying to piece together my thoughts, and I just watched the final. Um, I'd like to say that the selections that Kevin Hart originally pulled from the main collective pool of the three um, talent pools that he got from, I think he went to, well, I know he went to LA and New York because those are the two main comedy hubs, but I want to say he went to Chicago as well. I think that was the third spot. And I know comedy is subjective, but I feel like I have it down pretty well. I know what's funny. I know what makes me laugh, and what usually makes me laugh makes a majority of the people laugh. Um, Even though like some of my views are right leaning, definitely a right leaning individual now. Um, but still, even still, generally, if you tell jokes, I'm not one of those guys that generally gets offended unless it's just really bad jokes and you're just not so much telling a joke at um, or about somebody's religion or beliefs or any of that. You're just ranting about that, and that generally rants on stage are not funny. Quick note: George Carlin's last special I felt was a just giant rant about it's almost this old man get off my lawn. I did not enjoy that one near as much. His earlier stuff, way more lighthearted, if I could speak. So I liked and enjoyed that stuff more. Um, so that being said, I'd like to say the funny AF stuff, the three pools, I generally don't think he pulled the funniest people out of those pools. Now I know it's more difficult, and I think they're when you're doing a show like this, like Last Comic Standing, this really is like Last Comic Standing. If you like that, go watch this. I think you'll enjoy this one. But I don't think he pulled the correct talent from the pool. He got some of the same choices I would have made, but not all of the same choices that I would have made. And not even I personally didn't think he picked the best out of those pools and those fields. But you know, he's a professional comedian that has done it for decades, and I'm just a guy sitting at home. So take that as you will. Um, that being said, as the competition heated up and they moved into the semis, I didn't even particularly like the semis. Oh, the one commentary I want to make sure I get in here. The one thing I think really I want to talk about is those choices may have been somewhat predefined in that, you know, I feel like contractually they may have told Kevin, hey, you can't just pick, whoever you think's the funniest. You're gonna have to include people of color, white people, women, and men. You're gonna have to hit all the demographics. So when you do that, I mean, it's the same reason I don't particularly like DEI. You're not picking the best. You're just not. You're not getting the best show out there, as opposed to picking the best people. Now, also that being said, and I've said it before, and a lot of people agree with me. I think there are. Let me say it this way. I think there are funny women comedians out there. I just don't think there are as many of them as there are male comics. Now, I'm also going to say, for whatever reason, I feel like black comedians are generally funnier than white comedians. I mean, and talk about funny women. Marsha Warfield, hilarious. Loved her stand up back in the day. Rhett Butler, I like her. I like Rita Rudner. I liked Lucille Ball back in the day. There's a ton of stand up comedians that I've liked over the years, and if you notice, the ones I mentioned didn't generally just talk about, or I feel like a majority of them just talk about their vaginas like all the time. The entire time they're up there, it's either about sex, something related to sex or something related to their vagina. Like, and it's just constantly, you know, 40-minute set after 40-minute set of this. And if they get away from that, generally their jokes tend to fall flat, which is why I think they do what they do. I just don't think you should be able to make a career out of that. Although there have been some women comedians, especially lately, that have been able to do that. And well, if they can, great for them. Um, but enough of that. Um, and I'm sure I'll get some blowback. Put it down in the comments. Let me have it. I'm sure you guys will, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm putting it out there. I got to be ready to take some heat for it. That being said, um, when we get to the semifinals, it still kind of went like I thought these people were funnier than some of the people that he that he took. So really, I want to focus more. Um, Again, it being subjective, we get down to the finals, and I thought when he picked people for the finals out of the pool that was remaining, Kevin Hart did a great job picking the final six. I don't like the way they did voting for the final six to get to the final four. They took three comedians, separated them from the other three, and they voted to put in one person from the first set of three and one person from the second set of three. And then the other four that didn't get picked out of those two groups came back and they picked two more of those guys. So they took overall the best two overall out of the remaining four and the highest votes from each singular one, which I guess somehow they lucked into picking the best four out of those six. I think that America voting on those four did the absolute best job of picking the remaining four. Now, out of the remaining four, um, there was Indian comedian, or I mean, he's American. All of them are Americans, but one of them's from Indian. He has a background from that, who I thought actually in his final set was actually the weakest. Um, and then there's a guy named Ron and a guy named Reg, and I can't remember the woman comedian's name. All four of them, I think, were the top four and the funniest. I just think that Osama's set on the finals was his weakest set of the series. Um, and all of them just eh, Ron, I really appreciated how he got into the finals from the semis because he did not talk about sex a lot. He had a set that was like outside of that. I think Ron's strategy actually won him the whole thing, which spoiler alert. And I'll put a warning that there will be spoilers in here, and I probably should have did that a little earlier. Maybe I'll make an intro and splice it to the front of this. Um, but I think he used material in the first two rounds to get him to the same semifinals that was funny enough to get him in, but it definitely was not his best stuff. So then in the semifinals to get to the finals and the finals to win it, he it was very interesting. The first set that he did was not sexual at all. It was all hilarious, his roommate based, vegetarian jokes, stuff like that. Just completely away from that. Loved it. Loved it. I think that set might have actually been stronger than the set he finished with, but he broke it up into like the non-sexual, and then for the finals he did all of his sexual stuff. So I was disappointed that that's the way it went. Um, I think comedians really need to. I know we can all identify with that kind of comedy, but to be phenomenal, to be really good, the best comedians in the world rarely talk about it. They might mix it in, but more as just like, oh, this is just life kind of thing, not this is everything. But it seems like a lot of comedians, that's all they have to talk about. And there's so much more out there. And so there's a lot people can relate to. And I think Ron did a great job. And I think he's the only one to really go outside of the sex category and make me laugh and be funny and really go for it. Everybody else, it was one guy talked about orgies he'd been invited to. He didn't participate in that necessarily. He also talked about cheating, and they all talked about vaginas and penises and sex in general, and some funny stuff in there. But if that is your entire act, boy, that's I actually feel bad for comedians who that's how they have to move the women. So good to talk about. Okay. So in that aspect, I'm disappointed in that series. Um, that's why it's definitely not getting a 10 out of 10 from me. Um, but it was funny. I enjoyed it. And even at the times where they cracked jokes at gun control and guns and Americans being American at home versus them in Europe, stuff that should have and probably did offend some people, I was fine with it. I mean, should I be offended? Maybe a little bit, but they made it funny. So I was just like, no, they're being funny about it. So it's not like they were ranting or accusing, people of or a group of people just doing something. If it's stereotypical, generally I'll even let that slide if I'm offended by that because it's they're again trying to be funny and you know so what? Comedy can be offensive sometimes. So everybody has to think about that. And if you're easily offended, if you're going to go to a show and easily be offended, don't go see a comedy show. Seriously. And if you're going to be a heckler, if you think you're funny, they have open mic nights. Go do that. Don't heckle the people that are up on stage. Just want that to be said too. I think I don't know if people just get drunk and they forget the rules. I mean, they're not there to listen to you. They're there to listen to the comedian on stage. So again, if you ever do that, just be respectful and yeah. So all in all, um, I'm probably not going to rewatch the series now that I know what happened and I've seen all the content. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of replay value for it. So I would say, I'd say go watch it. I would recommend watching it. I would give it, I would give it a 7 out of 10, simply because there's a lot of stuff I didn't like about it. I mean, it's good enough. I think you guys should watch it. And again, you guys will probably get something completely different than I did out of it. And that's okay. Uh, and it should be okay. I mean, what do you care what I think? Why are you watching this? You're here either to agree with me or disagree with me and obliterate me in the comments and troll me. Like, just I think that's any more why people do this and watch things. And I don't fully understand all this stuff and even what I'm doing. But trying to make it work. Hope you guys like this. If you do, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, share this out, share it out, subscribe and share. And if you're going to subscribe, don't unsubscribe later. If you don't like the content, just don't subscribe. I keep getting people that, because we're small enough, or me, I'm a small enough channel, right? I have 200, and it was 3, now it's 201 subscribers. Not sure why you're unsubscribing, but I'd rather you just not subscribe in the first place. Gets my hopes up, and then pulls the rug out from under me. So, yeah. Uh, if you're gonna subscribe, stay subscribed. Hit that like button. Hit that notification so you know when I'm on, when I post, all that stuff. Thank you for putting up with my shenanigans, my sidetracks, my ADHD, all that stuff. Thank you for watching Glowing Card, and I hope you enjoyed the review. Go out there and watch Funny AF presented by Kevin Hart on Netflix. And I'm getting ready to go try some Destiny 2. So I'll be live shortly. Until then, be good to each other, and I'll see you then. Have a good day, everyone.